following program contains an all-you-can-eat philosophical buffet. If you suffer from mental indigestion, Randall may not be right for you. Check with your gastronomist.
Standing for truth in the four corners of America. Fighting for justice on the frontiers of the culture wars. And turning resistance into an art form. The only TV host arrested more times than Mahatma Gandhi, Randall Terry.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Voice of Resistance. It is I, your servant, Randall Terry, and you are watching the nation's #1 Tea Party television program. ABC held a debate. Newt Gingrich emerges as the clear frontrunner. Mitt Romney in a state of panic. And the president threatens to cut off all foreign aid to Uganda and any nation that denies homosexuals their right to commit perverse acts. And Obama says he's going to keep funding terrorism by denying the pipeline from Alaska to Texas. We'll talk about that and so much more in today's program. Today's show brought to you in part by Romney for President. If you want Obama, but only with lighter skin, Romney is your man. And by Michelle Bachmann for President, slinging mud in preparation of her new career as a female mud wrestler. Just kidding. Michelle, stop throwing mud. I'll be right back after a quick word from my friend, Rusty Cowpoke. Rusty, Botox. Botox, buddy. Fix that thing.
Hey, welcome to Rusty Cowpoke's Moment with the Bible. You know how it says that God confounds the wicked and even torments them? Get me now. I'm telling you the honest to God's truth. I promise you. You go to the New Hampshire Democratic primary, and who's on the top of that list? Would it be Barack Obama? No. Would it be Mr. Randall Terry? Why, in fact, it is. Now, get that. Can you imagine Mr. Obama's campaign just being a little hogtied right now? They're at their wits' end. What are they going to do, with Mr. Randall Terry?
Welcome back to the program, friend. ABC held a landmark Republican presidential debate. 6 candidates on the stage, and boy, oh boy, in my opinion, it was the best debate yet. And the reason was because so much of the interaction was candidate to candidate. Diane Sawyer and George Stephanopoulos did a pretty good job staying out of the way. Romney is now clearly in a distant second to Newt Gingrich in every major poll, and Romney needed to deal something like a knockout punch to Gingrich, and it just didn't happen. After all, Romney is a guy who's kind of an Ivy League. I play it by the rules. I don't sling mud. I don't body punch people. And he stuck to his form. He just couldn't get ugly on Newt. And so, as Romney was the front runner, and now Newt clearly is, Romney did nothing to help himself in that debate. Once again, Speaker Gingrich looked intelligent. He deflected criticism. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think that he gave a good enough answer when the question was asked, is marital infidelity something that should be focused on for a presidential candidate? A very awkward question, a very piercing question. All of the candidates said, yes, it matters. Newt Gingrich, who has been married 3 times, he is currently married and it appears that he will stay that way. Newt Gingrich said, yes, of course it matters, but I hope that people will look at who I am today as a 68-year-old grandfather, not who I was many years ago. I have sought God's forgiveness. I've sought reconciliation. And according to the speaker, he's done what he could do to make things right. I would only add this, by the way. If we are going to throw people out because of any sin, then probably at the top of the list would be Peter and King David. Peter denied Jesus Christ. The one thing that Jesus said would get a person right in hell, would land someone straight in the hot place. Remember, Jesus said, if you deny me before men, I will deny you before my Father in heaven. Peter did it. Peter denied Christ. And yet, Jesus still used him as the rock, as the leader of the church. Second, King David. King David committed unthinkable atrocities in the matter with Bathsheba, in the killing of her husband, Uriah. And yet after that, God used him not only to be the king of Israel, but to father Solomon. Think about it. Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived except for Jesus himself. And David got to continue writing sacred scripture. What would our Bible look like if David was thrown out because of his horrendous sin? With thee, O Lord, there is forgiveness, the psalmist wrote, that thou mightest be feared. God forgives us, forgiving iniquity and transgression. Thank God that his mercies are new every morning. It didn't sink Newt, and I think that it deflected. Let's go to Michelle Bachmann for a minute. If you've been watching this program for any length of time, you know that I like Michelle Bachmann. I think Michelle Bachmann could have been the winner of the Iowa caucus, which is soon to be upon us, and which she will lose. Her fatal mistake was hiring Ed Rollins, a Republican insider, to manage her campaign. And what he did was he gutted her. He took a political knife and he carved her guts out. She was the anti-establishment candidate. He is an establishment advisor, and he tried to say, no, don't be extreme. Don't play to your base. Play to the broad spectrum of American people. He tried to get her to run in a general election before she won the primary, and it has cost her dearly. And so now she's on stage whining, carping, throwing mud at Newt Gingrich, saying things about Newt Gingrich that simply aren't true. And it is beneath her. It will not help her. In fact, if she had any hopes of being in a Gingrich administration, should Gingrich get the nomination, and should Gingrich beat Obama, she's shooting herself in the foot. Michelle, be a lady. If you're going to attack him, at least attack him on clear principle and on clear record. Don't say that he made $100 million or whatever figure she was throwing around, lobbying and being an insider. He has raised his money by writing books, speaking fees, all of this, and she basically brought against him a false accusation. I was very saddened to see it. Here's the bottom line. I do not trust Newt Gingrich. I don't. He is, in many ways, a Washington, D.C. insider. And from what I have seen, and I want to be wrong, by the way, he has not fully integrated his Catholic faith with his public policy. All right? As far as I can tell, he wants to modify the socialist plantation, but keep it going. He, of course, in New York's 23 special election, about a year ago, he endorsed the baby-killing Republican instead of the clear pro-lifer who could have won. This was a grave breach of his duty as a Catholic Christian to uphold the sanctity of life and to use public policy, elections, and ultimately the passing of laws to protect unborn babies from the butcher's knife. So, do I like Newt Gingrich? Well, I think he's very intelligent. And I mean that. He is without question the most intelligent man on that platform when it comes to the Republican candidates. And he can dance circles around Barack Obama. I just don't know if he will make a good president when it comes to the core ethical issues of life, liberty, and justice. He's right on isolating Iran and their oil dollars. I don't know what he intends to do with Saudi Arabia, who is the #1 financier of terrorism. And if a bill crossed his desk that made it a criminal act to kill an unborn baby, I don't know what he would do. He says he's pro-life and that he's pro-life from conception, but saying those words does not equate to a policy decision. All of that to say this: Mitt Romney is Beelzebub incarnate. Mitt Romney is a bad man, okay? He's a bad man. He gave Massachusetts citizens a $50 copay to kill their babies. Walk into an abortion mill, pay $50, kill your child. Thank you, Mitt Romney. So don't anyone have the gall to tell me that he's pro-life. And the way that he caved in to the militant homosexuals and to the state Supreme Court of Massachusetts was like a frightened Girl Scout running from a bully. He didn't stand up for the truth. When we come back from this break, I'll show you what courage is like. I mean, it's evil courage, but Barack Obama's got it. He's going to stand up and defend the homosexuals. He's going to stand up and fund Islamic terrorists. This is who he is, and he's not afraid to say so. We'll be right back as we focus on the vile, God help us man who is in the White House. Don't go away.
No, Randall wasn't at the Battle of the Alamo, and you wouldn't have been either if you were that sick.
Hi, Joe Costello here, founder of Kylea Health and Energy. I've been making superb nutritional supplements for over 15 years, and from day one, I've partnered with Randall Terry, helping to fund his invaluable work in reclaiming our country's biblical and godly roots. I want to share with you a product that has changed hundreds of thousands of lives since its inception.
Introducing the Total Living Drinks, Greens and Berry, the ultimate superfood formulas that provide you the 9 essential areas of nutrition your body needs on a daily basis. Each serving of the Total Living Drink provides the life-giving phytonutrients that come from the equivalent of 5 servings of organic vegetables and berries, enzymes for better digestion and nutrient absorption, protein for building lean muscle mass so you can burn more fat for fuel, probiotics for better intestinal function, herbs for building energy and stamina, antioxidants for maximum immune function and disease prevention, and all the vitamins and minerals you need for slowing down aging and maximum health. You would have to take 30 to 40 capsules each day and spend almost $10 a day to match the over 30,000 milligrams of total nutrition in each scoop of the Total Living Drink. Order right now and get started on the amazing Total Living Drink. They come in 2 delicious flavors, Total Living Drink Greens and Total Living Drink Berry. And every single dollar we receive, we give a generous amount to Randall Terry's organization to help further his work and further the kingdom. Visit us online at the address on your screen and receive an online discount or call the toll-free number. Call today, and for the daily price of a latte, you can get back on the road to better health and energy with Kylea's Total Living Drink.
Moments with Moses. The Lord will cause you to be defeated before your enemies. You shall go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them.
President Obama, you might not like him, I sure don't, but boy, he is faithful to his core principles. He's gonna push the homosexual agenda, not just in America, but worldwide. He's gonna keep America suckling at the trough of Saudi Arabian Islamic oil and funding those terrorists. Never mind that we could have a pipeline from Canada to Texas. No, we're going to fund Islamic terrorism. Yeah, he's faithful. He's faithful to his core principles. They might land him in hell, might land him in the lake of fire for all eternity. Ha! But the devil be damned. He's going straight forward. In case you missed it, Uganda has been discussing making homosexual behavior, homosexual acts, criminal acts, and there was discussion even about the death sentence. I find that repugnant, okay? I want everyone to know, I do not believe that civil government should execute homosexuals based upon their behavior, all right? And I think that there are reasons in the New Testament that we can go to show that. If I'm wrong, please God forgive me, but that's the way I see it at this time. Now, St. Paul did say in Romans chapter 1 that those deeds were abominable and that many deeds, including homosexual acts, were deserving of death, okay? So let's not pretend that it is not a grave evil, because it is. If you look at the scriptures, we see that the curse of heaven literally comes upon a land that practices certain abominations, the killing of babies, homosexual behavior. It literally causes the land to vomit out the inhabitants. Read Deuteronomy chapter 28, Leviticus chapter 26, Leviticus chapter 18. Read these passages for yourself, okay? And you will see that God doesn't mince words. In fact, just take a quick look at Sodom and Gomorrah if you want to know how God feels about certain behavior. All right? Having said that, President Obama is now using the carrot and the stick to coerce Uganda and any other African nation, or any other nation in the world for that matter, to say that the homosexual movement can come on in and have your way. Have your way with us, is what Obama is saying. Will Uganda cave in? More than likely. They're so desperate for American money, my guess is that they will sell out their beliefs for American dollars. So now what we have is Obama bribing, blackmailing other nations with American taxpayer money to forsake their protection of morality. Now, Obama is happy if China has a one-child policy. Yes, American taxpayer dollars are going to help China's one-child policy, where women are forcefully dragged to abortion mills and their second baby that they're not licensed to carry is forcibly taken from her womb and murdered. Obama's okay with that. He's not going to protect the human rights of Christians in Islamic nations that can't preach the gospel or can't stand up publicly for Jesus or have a church service. He won't stand up for those babies in China or those Christians in Muslim countries or in communist China, but he's going to stand up for the militant homosexuals that want to spread their tragic, self-destructive, suicidal lifestyle throughout Africa, and that while a huge percentage of some African nations are plagued by AIDS, okay? AIDS, which is primarily transferred through intravenous drug use and homosexual behavior, and now heterosexual behavior. Obama's policies, by and large, are an abomination. And I'm telling you, this man will be remembered, if he is remembered in history 50 or 100 years from now, he will be remembered on the world stage as an enemy of righteousness and justice, a true criminal in the epic sense of the world of tyrants that we look at in the past. And his name will become a byword and a curse. Remember this, mark it down, write it in one of your journals or your diaries for your kids, because this will come to pass, because there is a God in heaven, and he is not mocked. I'll be right back with an exclusive interview with Larry Klayman from Jerusalem. Don't go.
Fail faster, Randall. Here, let me help you out. No!
Hi, Joe Costello here, founder of Kailea Health and Energy. I want to share with you a product that has changed hundreds of thousands of lives.
Introducing the Total Living Drinks, Greens and Berry, the ultimate superfood formulas that provide you the 9 daily essential areas of nutrition your body needs. Each scoop provides the life-giving phytonutrients that come from the equivalent of 5 servings of organic vegetables and berries, probiotics for better intestinal function, antioxidants for disease prevention, and vitamins and minerals for establishing maximum health. Order now and get started on the Total Living Drink. When you do, a generous gift will go to Randall Terry's organization to help further his work and further the kingdom. Order online and receive an online discount or call the toll-free number. Call today and enjoy maximum health and energy.
Some people's idea of free speech is that they are free to say what they like, but if anyone says anything back, that is an outrage. Sir Winston Churchill. As you know, I recently had the privilege of being in Israel, interviewing a lot of interesting people, including Larry Klayman, the founder of Judicial Watch and now the head of Freedom Watch. Here is that exclusive interview. We're here in Israel with Larry Klayman, who is the founder of Judicial Watch. Those of you who followed politics in the Clinton era know that Larry sued them just so many times. It made so many of us happy, and you won a lot too. Now he is the head of Freedom Watch, and Larry, you just had a great victory concerning Obama and health care.
We did. About a week and a half ago, Judge Roberts of the District Court for the District of Columbia held that, pursuant to our Freedom of Information Act request and FACA request, that we could gain access if there are continuing meetings on health care. And that's crucial because we know that Obama had been meeting with Planned Parenthood. He had been meeting with other very leftist groups that influenced him, that in effect bribed him for that health care legislation. They'll probably come back, the government, and say, look, we're not having any meetings, but then we're going to ask for discovery. I'm sure they are, because of the consequences of this health care legislation. It's huge, particularly with this downturn in the economy, put it mildly, it's a depression.
All right, why are you here?
I'm here because I'm a Christian. I was born Jewish. I became a Christian. I'm a Jewish Christian.
I was going to say you're still Jewish and Christian.
I'm Jewish and Christian. I'm privileged to be both. Glenn Beck is dear to my heart in terms of the way he talks. He talks straight up. Some people have said I was Glenn Beck before Glenn Beck. I joked it with him about that. I'm a little older. I turned 60 recently. And it's very important that we support Israel. It's the key. You know, it really doesn't matter what happens almost with the economy with regard to the deficit if the Middle East goes down the drain, because it's so volatile over here, and Israel's our only friend, notwithstanding the religious significance. But if Israel ceases to exist, it's now surrounded with the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt and other hostile regimes. If an oil field blows up, we're going to see an economic depression like we've never seen before. So I'm over here not just because it's my faith, because I feel this is my homeland in addition to the United States, but I'm here because geopolitically we need to do something to save Israel. If it goes down the drain, we're all gone.
What hope do you have of Obamacare being turned around 100%?
Oh, it'll be turned around.
Overturned. By law, by there's a lot of lawsuits now.
I think the Supreme Court will overturn it. The wind is at our sails in that regard. I don't always put a lot of faith in the Supreme Court, but this one, I'm pretty sure. But if not that, then perhaps this case where, if they are continuing with these meetings, if Larry Klayman's sitting in on them, I think, maybe we'll learn some things that we haven't learned before that might be helpful.
The lawsuits concerning Obama's birth certificate, clearly the one that they released was a forgery. Do any of them have any genuine traction now?
They have traction. I don't know about the lawsuits, but
I'm talking about in a federal court. Do any of them have any traction in any federal district court?
They don't have any traction in those cases. I had to bring a lawsuit on behalf of WorldNet Daily, Joseph Farah, Jerome Corsi, which I brought against Esquire magazine, and Mark Warren, because they falsified information and said that Joseph had withdrawn the book from the shelves, that he had using an expletive, deleted, cut Corsi, and it was libel, it was slander, it was tortious interference with business relations. I brought a lawsuit on that. But there's no.
Where's the lawsuit at right now?
They're going to have to respond, Esquire and Warren, by September 6th. But there's no federal judge that has the guts to take on Obama on this issue. And in fact, most of the congressmen up on Capitol Hill, including some of the ones that we really like, don't want to deal with that issue. Right? It's time.
At this point, he's the president of the United States, whether he's born here or not, whether he even can be.
He committed a fraud and he got away with it.
There you go. Larry, anything else to say to our Tea Party viewers?
My Tea Party viewers are that, we're here in Israel. This is just the beginning. We need to take this show back to the United States. We need to show not just Obama, but the Republicans how strongly we feel about Israel. Because, frankly, while Boehner invited Prime Minister Netanyahu to speak, that's not enough. They need to do something affirmative to help this nation. Things are closing in, and if Israel goes down the drain and the Middle East goes down the drain, we go down the drain with it.
God bless you, Larry. Good to see you.
God bless you.
Thank you, Larry. I'll be right back, friends, with an extremist quote from one of those extremist founders of the American extremist experiment in extremist self-government. Bah. They slay the widow and the sojourner, and murder the fatherless. And they say, the Lord does not see, the God of Jacob does not perceive. Understand, O dullest of the people, fools, when will you be wise? He who planted the ear, does he not hear? He who formed the eye, does he not see? He who chastens the nations, does he not chastise?
Hi, Joe Costello here, founder of Kylea Health and Energy. I want to share with you a product that has changed hundreds of thousands of lives.
Introducing the Total Living Drinks, Greens and Berry, the ultimate superfood formulas that provide you the 9 daily essential areas of nutrition your body needs. Each scoop provides the life-giving phytonutrients that come from the equivalent of 5 servings of organic vegetables and berries, probiotics for better intestinal function, antioxidants for disease prevention, and vitamins and minerals for establishing maximum health. Order now and get started on the Total Living Drink. When you do, a generous gift will go to Randall Terry's organization to help further his work and further the kingdom. Order online and receive an online discount or call the toll-free number. Call today and enjoy maximum health and energy.
James Monroe said, "It is only when the people become ignorant and corrupt, when they degenerate into a populace, that they are incapable of exercising their sovereignty. Usurpation is then an easy attainment, and an usurper soon found. The people themselves become the willing instruments of their own debasement and ruin." Prophetic words. Friend, I'm begging you, learn, read history, read political philosophy, read theology. Save yourself from the debasement of intelligence that has happened through government education. Save yourself from the corrupt influence of mainstream media and become a voice for justice and freedom and liberty under God.